Thank you for listening to Shulchanaruchharav.com.
The mitzvah of Bikur Cholim, of visiting the sick, the purpose of the mitzvah, the reason that we do so, and its effect and detailed laws. So the Rambam records in Hilchas Avelus, chapter 14, a number of mitzvahs that are done between man and his fellow, including the mitzvah of visiting the sick. And he emphasizes and explains that while this mitzvah is only of rabbinical status, meaning that it's the sages who obligated one to visit the sick, nonetheless it's included within the command of after Re'acha Kamaycha, which is a biblical command in the Torah of doing gemilas chasadim to others just like you would like done unto yourself. Some Rishonim go as far and claim that the mitzvah of Bikur Cholim is an actual biblical command, and some even list it as part of the 248 positive commands of the Torah. Now, what is the purpose and reason behind this mitzvah? So aside for the obvious of giving moral support to a person and assisting in bettering his mood, Chazal state that when one visits the sick, he helps to revive the ill person, and that it helps to remove 1/60th of the illness. Regarding the reward for this mitzvah stated in the Gemara in Adarim, that one who visits the sick merits the world to come to be saved from judgment in Gehennim, and in this world he merits to be protected by Hashem and to be protected from his Yetzer Hara and suffering. We will now go through some details of this mitzvah. When should one visit the sick? Who should one visit? And what should one do while he visits? All these detailed halachas are explained in the Shulchanaruch in Yerodea, in chapter 335, which is the chapter that discusses the laws of Bikur Cholim. So it's recorded in the Shulchanaruch that while family and friends may visit the sick right away, other individuals who are mere acquaintances are to wait at least 3 days from when the person fell ill before visiting him. The reason for this is because we do not want his status as an ill person to be spread to everybody and ruin his mazel prior to 3 days. The Shulchan Aruch likewise mentions different times that one should visit the sick, visiting hours. And it says that ideally one is not to visit in the first 3 hours of the day or last 3 hours of the day. Practically, however, people are no longer careful in this matter, and you can visit the sick so long as it's an acceptable time for the patient. Regarding how often one can visit the sick, so one may visit him as often as he likes, even a number of times a day, and one who does so is praised so long as he does not overburden the patient with his visitations. And therefore, to know and speculate when would be a good time and when not. And to visit the sick at not a good time is not something beneficial or in fulfillment of the mitzvah. Regarding visiting the sick on Shabbos, it is permitted to do so, though it's brought in the poskim that one is not too specifically scheduled to do so on Shabbos and rather should do so during the week, if he's able to. Who should one visit? So in general, every person is encouraged to visit an ill person. Even an adult should visit an ill child. And it states that even one who shares the same mazel as the ill person should visit him, even though by doing so, he contracts 1/60th of the illness. One is even to visit an ill Gentile due to darkei shalom for the sake of peace. However, an enemy one is not to visit while he is ill, as this can cause his illness to become worse due to his upsetness. Likewise, a person who is suffering from an illness that makes him be embarrassed or ashamed to be seen, then he is not to be visited inside the room, and rather they should wait outside and communicate with him from there. We will now discuss the halachic formalities of what is to take place during the visitation. It's brought down that the Shechina is found by the head of an ill person, and therefore it's written in Shulchan Aruch that it is forbidden to sit at a higher level than the ill patient, as you cannot sit above the Shechina. Nonetheless, practically this only applies if the person is on the floor. If, however, the ill person is on a chair or bed, then there's no problem for one to sit in front of him on a chair or bed, and so is the minhag. What should be done while visiting the ill person? So we find a halacha, a very specific number of details of what should take place during the visitation. Number 1 is to listen to him discuss his painful situation, to be a listening ear. Number 2, and this is the main aspect of the visitation and the fulfillment of the mitzvah Bikur Cholim, is to pray for him and arouse divine mercy on his behalf. One who has visited the ill but did not arouse mercy for him has not fulfilled the mitzvah. So rules the Ramah in Shulchan Aruch 335 halacha 4. For someone who visits, he speaks with the ill patient, he kibitzes with him, he says some jokes, he listens to his state, but he never davens for him, he never aroused mercy for him. He did a lot of good things, but he didn't fulfill the mitzvah of Bikur Cholim. The mitzvah of Bikur Cholim is mainly to daven for the ill person and bring divine assistance to him. Furthermore, writes the Mechaber in Halacha 8 and the other Achreinim, that in addition to the above, another vital aspect of the mitzvah of Bikur Cholim is to help and assist the ill patient while you're there, to help fulfill his needs for whatever he needs. And that this is the main purpose of the mitzvah of Bikur Cholim. So the correct Jewish halachic perspective and philosophy of visiting the ill is not just to show up and show moral support, show you care about him, that you're interested in him, but mainly to daven on his behalf and to help him and assist him in whatever he needs. We also find in halacha some limitations of things that you should not speak about or do while in front of the ill patient. It's brought down in the Mechaber and Shulchanaruchharav when we not do or say things in the presence of the sick person that can lead him to be brokenhearted, sad, melancholy, etc. And therefore one is not allowed to discuss the passing of an individual that he was close with or a relative in front of the ill person, as this can ruin his mood and ruin his illness. One is likewise not to say anything that can lead others to panic or fear, as this also can have an impact and effect on the state of mind of the patient, which can deteriorate his illness, chas v'sholem.
Thank you for listening to Shulchanaruchharav.com. Our free services of making Torah knowledge available to the public depends on donors like you. Please help us continue our work through making even a small contribution at Shulchanaruchharav.com under the Daily Halacha Dedication section or in the subscription page. Also, check out our online courses and many sefarim available for purchase that will both enhance your Torah knowledge and help support our work.